Well, good morning or good afternoon, meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to congratulate you once again for organizing this important Congress, and I think it is important that the farmers come together, stick together, and as well make their voice heard together in order that we take up this, and this is of course for the politicians, not only the European Commissioner, because I have as well 27 member states, but as well for your national government to learn what are your needs and as well to bring these needs then as well back to the table when they come to Brussels. And for me it is a great pleasure to be here with you today at this conference on Horizon 2025 and at Agri for Future. And this event looks at the future of agriculture, but before we discuss what lies ahead, let me take a moment as well to acknowledge what you Romanian farmers have achieved in the recent years. You have faced a pandemic that disrupted supply chains and markets, and you have endured an energy crisis that raised as well your production costs, and you have operated under economic uncertainty and perhaps most severely under the growing pressures of climate change, droughts, unpredictable weather and increased risks. And yet through all of this you continue to feed Romania, you continue to feed Europe, and you continue to feed the world as well. And you safeguarded our food security and showed an extreme resilience when it mattered the most. And for this, you deserve as well our recognition and respect and our gratitude for what you have delivered for all our European citizens over the last years. And a new vision for European agriculture is, of course, what I want to bring to the table, and I discussed it this morning as well with the young farmers, but as well already in here. I want the farming sector to become again more productive, to become again more competitive, and I think all this needs to work in a sustainable manner. And I have the impression that over the last years we had often, and I saw it from different perspectives from the European Parliament side, we spoke about sustainability. But sustainability for me is not only the environmental sustainability. The sustainability for me has at least three pillars. It needs, of course, to be environmental sustainability because we have limited resources in water. We need to protect our soils, otherwise you will not be able to produce. We need to protect biodiversity as well in order to bring our agriculture forward. But at the same time, you need to make a living out of a farm. And I think the economic sustainability is a very important one that we need to duly consider and that we need to bring forward. And the social sustainability as well, because you want as well to have good working conditions, and I think that is very important that we combine the economic, the social and the environmental one in order to make the entire sector more sustainable. And for me and for the European Commission, farming and food are a very strategic sector, and it is as well a critical asset for Europe. And I have to say, when we speak about, of course, and this is enshrined in the treaties, food security is the major objective from the common policy, which is the agriculture policy. And when you look to the treaties, it's food security, and we need as well that food is affordable for our consumers, and that there is an income support for our farmers, that they have make a living. But when we speak about food security, I believe it's not the only security that our farmers are delivering on. I visited yesterday a very big dairy farm, for example, and they are as well a net energy producer. So I believe that farmers have as well are delivering on the energy security, and I see that there is still a huge untapped potential of becoming even more energy producers, and that is as well in the interest of all the citizens. And it is as well, it's cutting ourselves off of the dependencies that we currently have on the energy side. And then also physical security. We shouldn't forget about that. I traveled, for example, to Finland. Finland has 1,340 kilometers of shared border with Russia. And when you look, and the same goes for the Baltic countries where I was as well, when you look at those regions, what would be there if there wasn't agriculture and forestry, with the related physical presence of our farmers and businesses in the agri-food sector, with the necessary infrastructure as well in these regions, there would be nothing. And that is once again underlining the relevance of an agriculture policy that ensures that this important activity of agriculture and forestry remains in all our regions, and therefore that it delivers as well on this third aspect of security, which is our physical security in the end. And I believe that would be a huge weakness if in these regions we wouldn't be producing and having agriculture. And I believe therefore that our farming and food producers are the backbone not only of our food sovereignty, also on our competitiveness and our sustainability agenda, and we need to deliver here as well the right signals as well for our rural regions. And the challenges that you face are of course very real, and it is also your role to discuss our common solutions, and that is why the Commission's approach is a pragmatic and a tailored one, because as I said earlier on, we don't have the same conditions in all our regions of the European Union, and we need to take them all on board. And this summer the Commission proposed the proposal for the future common agriculture policy, but as well for the future multi-annual financial framework. And the goal is also to create a CAP that is simpler, that is more flexible, and that is as well more impactful. And I think we are merging, of course, the two existing pillars into a single coherent set of instruments, but we are maintaining the full toolbox that we currently know, and we make it easier to use this. And I think that is as well something that you, the farmers, were calling very strongly to make this all easier, because as it has been said before, farmers want to work their land, they want to work with their animals, they want to produce, and they don't want to spend time just filling in papers. And for the EU as a whole, close to 294 billion are already ring-fenced. This is an absolute minimum, and this is just for the income support part, as I've mentioned. And Romania will have at least 16.6 billion dedicated to supporting the farmers' income, with the possibility to add more from the national allocations. And this is not about co-financing, this is the money that is available under this national envelope. And it is the sixth biggest EU recipient from CAP funds by that. And this provides as well the necessary predictability and the stability for farmers, a strong and secured support for their income at a time when other sectors fear and face uncertainty. And the strong commitment underlines the non-negotiable importance of farmers for ensuring food security and food sovereignty across the Union. And in addition, through the European Competitiveness Fund, around 40 billion will be available to foster research, innovation and resilience in agriculture. And I think that is something we need to focus on as well, and not only look at the one part of this budget. And what this means for Romania, Romania stands to benefit greatly from this new architecture. The increased flexibility allows the Romanian authorities to tailor interventions to national and regional needs. Farmers here will see simplified rules, more flexible tools, and reduced administrative burdens, so you can focus on producing food and not on paperwork. And farmers under 10 hectares, because there are as well many small farms in Romania, will be exempted from checks, for example. So I think that is a very important part forward as well, to make it for the small ones easier as well. And we are also ensuring that support is fairer. Income support will be more targeted, focusing as well on small and family-sized farms, on young farmers, and I think that is something where we need to do more work when it comes to the generational renewal. And we also propose to increase the coupled income support, and this is an opportunity to support vulnerable sectors like, for example, the livestock, and this was as well a very strong call by Romania at council level to have this possibility to give, for example, support for breeding animals in order to give this sector another push. And bigger farms will of course still receive a large amount of funding, and this support can be complemented with funds for investment, environmental actions, because currently, as you know, we have the eco schemes in the first pillar, agro-environmental measures in the second pillar. Often it serves the same purpose. We are bringing this together, and this will be way easier than for you to do, and there is no capping at any thing on that, so you can use it even if you have 10,000 hectares, you can apply this to 10,000 hectares. And also, for example, we have lump sum payments up to 200,000 euros that will be available to support the long-term transition of large farms towards sustainable models, whether organic or regenerative or agroforestry as well. And then on external convergence, the external convergence was also considered when setting up the new envelope for Romania, and beyond the CAP, the amount that Romania will receive in total in the next MFF is 17% higher than what you get now. So I think that is something where we need to consider, and where we also and we also took into account your special position in the European Union on our eastern front, as I said before, because our eastern borders get a top-up to prevent land abandonment in these regions that are so important, as I mentioned earlier, for us and for our security. And another challenge faced by our farmers is, of course, the climate disasters. We discussed this as well. We have ever more frequently droughts, floods, wildfires, and I think that is something where we need to be better prepared on several fronts, and Romanian farmers are, of course, no strangers to the realities of climate change. We discussed the droughts that you have gone through this year, and it was also damaged in the late spring by frost that came in lately. So this was for certain productions, in particular apricots, cherries, peaches and nectarines, a very disasterful year. But today I can announce that we will allocate 11.5 million to Romania from the agriculture reserve to support these sectors that have suffered so much. So I'm very glad that I can announce you this good news about this 11.5 million for these sectors today. And looking ahead into the next financial period, we will be doubling this crisis reserve that we currently have. We have currently 450 million annually for that, and look at the disasters that we had all over the European Union. 450 million for 27 member states, it's not enough. So that is why in the frame of the next multi-annual financial framework we have decided to double this amount. So we will have 900 million annually to support the farmers if these crises happen again. And we call this unity safety net, because we are saying as well we need that the farmers stay on board, stay united, and as well that was a discussion this morning as well about third country competition. If there would be disruption for any third country, we can use this money as well to recalibrate the market disturbances with that. And then speaking about disturbances, I also understand the concern that some have you, as I said, with the international trade. But I also would like to remind you that our union is a net exporter of agri-food goods. We are exporting almost 70 billion annually more than we are importing, so we are heavily dependent as well on this trade aspect. And I will be going to an agri-food mission to Brazil in 2 weeks, and there are as well 4 Romanian companies in the wine sector, in the dairy sector, and as well in the meat sector that are participating. So I'm very glad that they are seizing the opportunities. And we are always, of course, very careful when we are speaking trade and trade agreements, and that is why I am also accompanying now my colleague Maros Šefčovič, who is in charge of trade, for example, to India, to be very clear what are our limits, and that certain sectors are, of course, way too vulnerable to make any concessions there. So I think that is very important to say. The question of competitiveness, I think that was one that was highlighted very strongly today, and the question is, of course, very crucial. And joining producers, organizations or cooperatives can help you sell your products at a better price. And I know that in Romania, from your past, cooperatives and producer organizations have a little bit of bad taste, historically speaking. But on the other side, we see very clearly that farmers that team up together, that negotiate together, get better prices. They can even invest together for certain machinery together. And I think that is something where we have a lot to win. And I believe that there is still room for improvement, but that is why I'm so glad to be here today, to see as well that this process is taking up, and that is very important. And this is also done, of course, by supporting the next generation of farmers, so that this profession remains alive, and with it rural areas. So 10% of farmers currently are only below the age of 40, and this I think is not very good. So I will present by the end of the month a strategy to ensure that the generational renewal in our farming sector is going to happen, and the Commission can of course not do this work alone. We currently have of course the tools and the support of the Common Agriculture Policy, but this alone is not sufficient. We need to as well to look into the national policies, what can be done with tax incentives, what can be done with attractive pension systems for the older farmers in order that they give over the farm. So I would, that is something where we will be working closely together with the member states as well to get this done. And here I would also like to congratulate you for setting up the Bucharest Center for Innovation and Training of young leaders that I got presented this morning as well, because I think young leaders and entrepreneurs in agriculture have a key role to play when they learn how to negotiate contracts and a lot. And you came to Brussels. I think this is a very important activity that you give to the young farmers to the hand. So, ladies and gentlemen, the world is, of course, changing very fast. Climate pressures, geopolitical instability, and shifting markets make the future uncertain. But one thing is very clear: the European agriculture must thrive, and we will keep supporting it. And Romanian farmers play here, of course, a very decisive role for our food security. And together we will ensure that Romanian and European farming is fair, competitive, sustainable and attractive to new generations as well. This, as I said, is a shared mission, and I am very determined to make it happen together with you. That is the reason as well why I come to Romania to discuss these matters, to see what we can do better, because everybody can do better and has to do better in order to shape this agriculture that is fit for the future. Thank you very much.